Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to another episode of the NXT post-show Sour Graps thing. My name's Alex, and I give up.
It's the Sour Graps Faux Show for May 27th. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats at humperchats.com. Do leave a thumbs up on this video. We're not going to plug you to death in the beginning of this, but we will tell you to head over to fightfulselect.com and to subscribe. We had the NXT rundown for tonight for the first time in a while. So if you were watching or are dazzled by what's going on in NXT, feel free to head over to fightfulselect.com and check that out. Also, the news that Will Ospreay and Hangman Page are in love. They love each other, Alex. They were like, no, you win the main event. And the other one was like, no, you win the main event, bruv.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
They're lovers.
Yeah.
They put on a great match. I'll give a quick shout out to that was the end of the Owen Cup, and this is not an AEW podcast, and we talked about that at length already. But I do have my Owen Hart Foundation hoodie on. And the proceeds go toward a fantastic foundation. So I would just encourage you to head over to prowrestlingtees.com. If I'm sure they still have some like post Memorial Day Mayhem 20% off coupon or whatever going on there. If you're trying to throw some merch on to beat shipping charges, they do incredible work, and the proceeds go to that. But Alex, we were talking on Fightful Select yesterday, and the rib of all ribs came in today because somebody had said, why do you have... Well, first of all, a dweeb on the internet told Sean to stop reviewing NXT. And he was like, great news about that. I don't. And then he was like, you have two people that hate NXT reviewing NXT. And it's like, well, no, first of all, we love wrestling. We criticize when it's not good. But we had said it's been remarkably better for the past few months. Kind of since the start of the CW deal, it was more gradual and then picked up. We were like, it's actually been pretty decent. And then tonight happened. So a rib to us. This is a wild show. Certainly feels like some NXT call-ups are on the way. Like that's the vibe I got. And Alex, if there's anything we've ever just absolutely nailed, been 100% right about, it's call-ups from NXT. Our timeline has never missed. We have not ever been off by a year or more on anyone's. So.
Yeah.
That's not a report.
No.
Or true.
Kate.
Alex.
This feels like one of those sales where like we're moving to a different location and we don't want to rent the big truck. So it's one of those things that says everything must go. No offer is too like, you know what I mean? And it just feels like, okay, so
department store puns is what you're saying.
No, I'm not. It's wedding puns, by the way, because you were doing bridesmaid stuff, and I went to a wedding, and it's so it's wedding puns. It's wedding.
And Will Ospreay and Hangman are going to get married.
And Will Ospreay and Hangman Page are going to get married. It's wedding puns. It's wedding season. It's wedding puns. So we decided we're going to. You got the call. Let's pretend HBK got the call 5 minutes before showtime and said, we need Ricky Starks and Stephanie Vaquer tomorrow. Oh, we also need Jordan Grace.
I'm trying to.
And he was
said,
like,
I'm HBK. I got the call. So I'm doing HBK stretching things. Nailed it. Go
on. And this just feels like you could have gotten a better return on what you could have gotten a better return on what you had to do than this, if that is the case. Ricky Starks to me is or Saints, whatever, is less cut and dried to me, but there's no reason you do what you did at the end of the show unless Stephanie Vaquer is going up and also Jordan Grace is going up.
Definitely feels that way.
And if that is the case, then when you had Roxanne, Stephanie, Julia, and Jordan, plus everybody else we've already got. They were saying, and honestly, they had a very good argument. We have the best women's division in wrestling. I mean, honestly, I don't necessarily. I could really disagree when you have those 5 talents. You decided to just all of them are getting called up at the same time. Well, then you decided by bringing them all to the main roster at the same time, the NXT went from the best women's division to the worst.
I mean, they seemingly have called up the entire top of their card. So how is it kind of supposed to be anything other than that?
That just doesn't make any sense to me. That you can't stagger that. You can't figure out a way to do a transitional reign to a transitional reign to a transitional reign that allows there to be some kind of stagger, so that we're not just taking everything out of we're not just taking everything out of the cupboard at once. You know what I mean? You got to figure out a way to do it in a better way. Than that.
Their thinking feels like it's this. How exciting it'll be to have all these new talent invade the main roster at once. Like they don't.
So they can lose them poorly up there.
So this was the other discussion that we've had that kind of bears repeating now. There's what I feel, and you've said before, and I firmly agree, a misconception that there is not like a lot of roster depth on the main roster. And there's a lot of great women's wrestlers up there, even after the cuts. Yeah. They're utilized really poorly. Their plan for the mid-card is Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
I love the Secret Harvest. Alba Fire never wrestles.
Never.
Like, never wrestles.
Certainly
Mia
not.
Yim is like...
She has never once wrestled as Alba Fire like she was Kaylee Ray.
Right.
You know
She's
what I mean?
a stooge.
They have Kaylee Ray on the main roster. They choose to make her wrestle as Alba Fire or Agent A or whatever it is now.
Mia Yim hangs out with BFAB, but they're not a tag team. You know what I mean? Like there's all these incredibly valuable, incredibly talented, great women's wrestlers that are utilized really bad on the main roster. And so to call these 4 up, I don't blame them for being like, I think they're main roster ready. Yeah, of course. Of course.
They were main roster ready when you signed them, but when you put them all in NXT, like you can't take them all out of NXT at once because there's not a lot, certainly not anything you can do as a 1-for-1. You know what I mean? It's
right. Yeah, it's if they also called up on the men's side, like Oba Femi, Ricky Starks, Ethan Page, Trick Williams at once, you'd be like, well, now that's in pretty poor shape too.
Yeah.
So I empathize, honestly. Like I feel bad. Sympathize, not empathize. I don't know I can't put my emotional self in the shoes of a wrestling booker who just had a mass call up of their top talent. I sympathize for that because what do you do? Because it's not like, oh, well, they took this talent, but I have this person heated up and ready to go. They took all the other people that were heated up and ready to go with them. Literally everybody that was in like that. When everybody was circling the title, all of them are on the main roster or Cora Jade, who was released. So like the entire top of the card is now not really there anymore. Right. Now, Jacy's someone we've been saying for a long time, if you're not going to put a title on her, collar up. I thought Jacy was going to lose and maybe go up. But like, I wish that they had the space to tell a story to get there, because I think Jacy Jayne's very talented. But when you have like Jordan Grace and stuff going at it on Sunday, and then this is just kind of snapped together, or Feud snapped together. I can't say what they've done or what they're not doing.
Going back to Julia as the women's champ and Stephanie as the North American champ, and then let's have them wrestle each other, because we think it was reported by not us that Julia is dinged up and she might have to like go away for a few months. So let's do a double champ thing for Stephanie. And then as soon as she is that, she's going to have one North American title defense and then put it up for some in some kind of do another thing where you recrown it in a ladder match or whatever that is.
I am a fighting champion. I cannot keep this breakneck face.
Right.
Within a week of each other. I'm vacating. Here's the ladder match for it.
And when Julia came back earlier than they thought, then it was like, ooh, well, this is really interesting. And it turns out, no, we're just going to have her do a couple of things, and then she'll be more on the main roster than she is on NXT, and then she'll lose one final match, which was incredible, to Jordynne Grace. And Jordynne Grace, and then Julia will go up. She'll have a fight with Roxanne on the main roster, who should have been called up back in January, but she wasn't. Anyway, so they were a tag team for like 2 episodes on Raw. Then they broke up after an episode of Raw during one of those backstage social media exclusive things. They broke up. Julia is now on SmackDown, and Roxanne is in the Judgment Day, I guess, on Raw. And Jordynne Grace, who beat Julia in that amazing match, gets a one-on-one versus Stephanie Vaquer at Battleground. And you think, okay, the winner of this is staying long-term, long-ish term, until the end of the summer, maybe. And the loser goes up to the main roster. You never thought for a moment that the winner and the loser are going up.
Sure.
Like the loser of it goes up, sure, I guess. I would have said Jordynne Grace has an opportunity to like mold what this was in her image, but they're paying her main roster money. They want her on the main roster. Fine. Stephanie Vaquer wins. She's going to stick around. They have a whole thing for her to do there. You could actually really build with I don't know, weeks of programming. You do some, I don't know, what's that thing where you tell stories, but for not a short, long-term storytelling. You could do that for like, I don't know, 2 months, let's say. And then you could have that person who you've been doing that, what's it called? Long-term storytelling with, beat Stephanie Vaquer, and then Stephanie goes up. And then you've done the long-term storytelling, I think is what it's called, to actually make that person feel like they are worthy of being in the position of the AEW the NXT Women's World Champion. Now, I'm not saying that Jacy Jayne, the wrestler, isn't worthy of that. I'm saying that the character went from an hour ago being the second most important member of a mid-card heel faction to the world champion of NXT. And that, my friends, is indefensible. You have to have figured out a better time to do the transition, so you give more time for Jacy Jayne to be built up to that point, or you find a different person to be the person to beat Stephanie Vaquer. Probably both of those things. A different time and maybe a different person. But this is indefensible. It's indefensible. When you've already sent Roxanne, Julia, and presumably, because she was not on the show tonight, Jordynne Grace, all to the main roster within the span of 17 days. That's ridiculous.
It's also like they tout how it's the best women's division, and I don't want to pick on anybody that's on the men's side, but part of why they highlight it so much is because the men's side feels thin. Like that division feels very, very thin. We talked about that in the LFG Evolve Battle Royal thing.
Yeah. And
right now, Trick is your TNA champion, right? Yeah. And Ricky Starks is getting called up. So you're thinning out the whole product quite a bit. It's not just the women's roster, and they do shove it down your throat. They're the best women's roster in wrestling, right? But it's also a because it's such a women's heavy product, it's now a roster wide issue. I'm very happy for Jacy Jayne, the wrestler. She's been someone we've talked about for a long time.
For forever.
Esther, get off the pot. Yeah,
2021.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
She's been a tentpole talent for a long time.
She and Gigi Dolan were doing FaceTime calls with Mandy Rose, who was by the pool, and they were in the tanning salon in the mall.
Mermaid Mandy Rose.
Oh man, it was just the best. This, I believe, Jacy Jayne has been on the NXT roster since the day you started doing these reviews with me.
I think you're right.
Like, been there doing this whole time, and so yeah, she's definitely put in the work, and she's also a really talented wrestler. But her putting in that work and her being that talented of a wrestler, like, to them, was worthy of her being long term the second most important member of a mid-card heel faction.
So that's the other part of it, is like, I like a shock win, but even shock wins, this is so weird to say, in my opinion, even shock wins have to have started 6 weeks ago. If Steph was defending it, I wouldn't recommend this from like a wrestler health perspective. But if Steph defended the NXT title on Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and at the pay-per-view, and then was just too beat up to get through this defense, so Jacy Jayne gets a shock win, that's an entirely different conversation than the one we're having, right? So it's like, even, look, the Yankees lost to the Rockies, who are horrendous. I mean, the worst MLB start in history, I think. Like, sometimes that happens, but in wrestling, when you have stories to tell, at least the character arc, in my opinion, should set up the framework for the shock win. If you're reading a mystery novel and something comes out of the blue, you're like, oh my God, all those clues that they left along the way, though, now this makes sense, but I didn't see it coming. Like, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like HBK was like, I don't know, throw it on JC from a story standpoint because we're losing everybody else. I would have gone with and I'm very happy for Jacy Jayne. I think she's a far more talented wrestler than she's been given breathing room on the product. That's kind of the point. But I would have done a Zarya Sol Ruca 2-woman power trip, like if everybody is getting called up, because I think there's some. Then one of them loses their title and turns on the other, and that's what I would have done, because I'm a Delta Zarya sicko. But
listen, I don't like when they do this kind of thing, but it does give a storyline reason for this. She's got and I don't know their names. I'm sorry, I don't follow AAA. The two women that she's having a tag match with at Worlds Collide. Okay, Luis will inform me in the chat. So I don't know who those people are, but they were here in the building for tonight. When she's going out for her match, they attack her from behind. They hit her with a pipe, they bang on her, whatever. Lola Vice, her tag partner, runs them off. Ava says, Steph, I'm not going to force you to defend. Like, you've been beaten up pretty bad. And Stephanie says, no, I'm a fighting champion. So it's her own thing. She was given an out, and she said, no, I'm going to be a fighting champion, which is noble. And she has these two women who she's got a tag match with in a couple of weeks to blame for her losing the title. Like, that is a story that you told within the episode. Now it just feels like we had to panic, and we were told the next time Stephanie Vaquer has a match, she has to lose it. Oh, I guess we already scheduled a couple days ago. We scheduled this match with Jacy Jayne. I guess that's it. And like, that's not a way you want. You don't want the show that you write and decide things on purpose to look like you did a panic thing. You don't want it to look like that. That's not good.
Someone saying that Jordan not being on doesn't mean that she's necessarily going up.
No, that's true.
That is true, and it's not something we're reporting. It's something we're speculating on. But I would also say, I think of anybody that's on the main roster or in NXT that should be on the main roster right now is Jordan Grace. Like, I feel like it was silly that she's stopped by NXT at all. So the idea she'd be the last one to go up feels kind of crazy to me, even from a financial perspective, because she's on a main roster deal. But I'm like, she's kind of the one that should. And in my opinion, they're all main roster ready. But I was like, she felt like a big signing for the main roster when she got signed.
Jordan Grace, though, if she's still in NXT, Is she taking the title off of Jacy Jayne?
Now, this is
And
something
why
I
did
was
we need
thinking
a
about
middleman? Because like you
to
didn't
break up
want
the
Stephanie,
faction.
but the faction could have broken up 3 weeks ago. You didn't need to do any of this to break up the faction.
It gives Fallon something to be jealous about, is what I think they're thinking could be about it. But then Jordynne Grace beating the crap out of Jacy makes Jacy look really bad. I do wonder if they're doing Jordan Zarya. If she's gonna come for Sol Ruka next. Because she had
backstage telling Tatum Paxley, "Don't worry, it gets better."
Oh, this ring.
Zarya is the furthest thing from a world title picture, man, or a Jordynne Grace match. Like she's just backstage hanging out with her buddy, who's the North American champion. None of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. I'm not going to pretend like it does.
Jordan saying after she lost to Steph, like, sometimes the hardest pill to swallow is just that you're just not good enough. Maybe think like maybe she's going to go sniffing for a different title, and in order to get to Sol, she has to go through.
Okay, well, she's not good enough to beat Stephanie Vaquer. Do you think she thinks she's good enough to beat Jacy Jayne? Because I do. So
possible.
Why would she go sniffing for a different
possible.
title? And if she's going to be the person who comes after Jacy Jayne, and she beats Jacy Jayne, then why did we have the middle woman, not the middle man, but the middle woman, the middle lady, the middle gal?
The middle gal?
Why do we have to have the middle gal? We don't need a middle gal healer. You just have Jordynne Grace beat Stephanie Vaquer in the match you built up to for several weeks. You don't need to do any of this either. Like the idea that like, oh, but we don't want Stephanie Vaquer to lose to get pinned because it makes you look weak. But you had her get pinned because the numbers game makes her look so much better than just losing straight up to Jordynne Grace, one of the best wrestlers in the world, I guess, is a thing that you think. Not you.
I mean, it's certainly from a wrestling perspective more protected, right? But that's all who knows, right? Like that's this is all.
That's all who knows. Because if you had told me when Roxanne Perez lost the title, how many more times was she going to be in NXT? I would have said 2, maybe, probably 0. She was on there for like 5 more months. You know what I mean?
My favorite one that we've ever been wrong about was Braun Breaker, because we were wrong for like a year to 18 months. We were wrong.
We were. Yeah.
Roxanne was clearly waffling because they didn't have plans for her. Yeah. Braun hadn't really been on the main roster at all, but we were like, any day now that guy's going up for like a full year.
Yeah. So. Jam Beard says, I agree with Alex. NXT equals nonsense exists tonight.
Okay, that's kind of a badass name.
I like that a lot.
This is honestly my fault because I kept bringing up Wrestlelicious behind the paywall again, and I feel like they were like, that's inspired.
Yeah. JW Pringle says, amazing Alex, Killer Kate, powerful Papa Paul Elizabeth, and all the SGS. Well, that happened. I didn't watch him this year for the fun. Much love. Thank you, JW Pringle. And
thank
Alpha
you,
Bill
brother
says,
of mine.
Call Harley. We might need to have mini Alex.
Oh my God. We're going to sell those before they do on AEW shop. We'll have little mini Alexes because we don't even have to worry about their hair.
There's a website I know where you can basically make your own Muppet style puppet of yourself and have it mailed to you. It's like $400-$500 though, and I'm like, I just don't feel like it's worth it. But you know, maybe that's what I'll take in lieu of payment for watching Freddie Got Fingered. Sean can have a puppet made of me and sent to my house. Then when I don't want to do the show, my puppet can do the show. There you go.
This is like out of context, an absolutely insane sentence. Like, our boss wants us to review Freddie Got Fingered, and we will do it for $1,000 each. But in lieu of payment, a giant Alex puppet.
We'll each accept a puppet. You have to have one too. So occasionally we'll just.
She's got to have bangs, so it'll be more expensive. It'll be a whole thing.
Okay, great. Jacy Jayne has been on NXT since 2020.
Does that precede me?
Yes, it does. You were 2021. You were like
I was
August of
2021,
2021.
right?
Yeah, so she's.
I should remember this
been
because
around for
the
a
year it is,
while.
I was born in 2000. This
Yeah.
should all be so much easier for me to remember.
See, Ramos like doubling up. I want Puppet Alex and Puppet Kate to review Freddy Got Fingered. There we go. That's it. I will not watch the movie until I get paid up front with my puppet, and then the puppet will review Freddy Got Fingered. Done.
There you go.
Get word to Sean, and it's got to be a good one. He's not like drawing my face on a sock or something.
No
loopholes, Sean.
No, Mr. Sockos for us, like proper. He looked up reviews that were good reviews of Freddy Got Fingered, and it took him a minute to find them. But
a mini Alex puppet would fit in with Statler and Waldorf perfectly. There you go.
I feel like that I become the outsider, but you hate friendship, so what else is new?
True. Ryan Cicchini says, no, y'all hate it. I loved this episode. Honestly, I loved the episode until the very end. Doesn't love
there were parts
I liked
of it,
the episode a lot until the very end.
There were parts of it that I felt like were very crowded, but when I stepped back and was like, oh, this was supposed to be their big Tampa Tuesday show that they had to move, it made a lot more sense because I was like, there's a lot going on here of like AAA and the LFG guys' first review or debut, and
there was a lot. There was a
TNA.
lot.
Like I was just like, this feels big, but then I was like, oh, this was supposed to be like a part of the big Tampa thing, but it felt very, very crowded to me. Very, very crowded to me. But
yeah,
up and down.
Oh wait, I remember something I hated. The NXT North American Championship
rename
match.
the show that. Oh wait, I remember something I hated.
I have legitimately never seen this.
Is it Freddy Got Fingered?
No, I've never seen that, but also I've never seen security at ringside for a match.
What on earth was this?
Well, I've never seen that before. Just like Ava came out and was like trying to get everything, security at ringside for a match. The security was already out there. Like they couldn't get through the pre-match introductions by Mike Rome without trying to fight each other. And then security got in and was like, because they were already there. They were pre-stationed for the match. And they were already there. They got in and hold them back. You guys aren't allowed to fight. It's a wrestling match. Do you know how many times I've watched a match that starts with a guy running up and punching a dude before the first bell? And then the ref's like, well, I guess I already started. Ding, ding, ding. And then that's what happened. Like, they tried to do that, but there was security that stopped them. And then they actually started the match, and they were fighting, and then they started doing things on the outside, and then the security was still there. And then Ethan Page picked up a chair, and security was like, hold on, you can't use a chair in this match. And I'm like, let him get DQ'd. It is a regular match. If he hits him with the chair, he gets disqualified and he can't be the North American champion. Why are we stopping him from being stupid? That doesn't make any sense. But then Ava comes out and Ava's like, hold on, stop this. And I thought when she was talking to the ref, she was like, listen, obviously these guys can't control each other, so we're just going to let them do whatever they want. From now on, no disqualifications. That's what I thought she was saying. But Vic made sure to clarify it because Booker T also thought that was what he was saying. But Booker T knows what the hell's going on because he has cue cards. So he didn't read those. So he also thought, like me, it was now a no disqualification match. And Vic Joseph was like, hold on, Booker. Actually, crucially, it's not a no disqualification match. She just told the ref that there has to be a winner. Isn't that mostly how it goes? Unless there's a disqualification, I suppose. So just make it no disqualification. And then the security keeps getting involved and just make the match a no DQ match. And then you can have the spot
which I thought was really cool and inventive, of
Yes.
hitting the cutter across the overturned chair so you hit him on the crossbar in the throat. You could still do that in a no disqualification match. And then you could do the rest of it the way you did it. And the constantly hitting him on the throat with all the different stuff, throat chops, kick into the throat, the top rope snapped up, hits him in the throat, all that stuff, another twisted grin, and then Ethan Page is your new NXT North American champion. And at the time, because I had not gotten the vibe from the rest of the show that we're just panicking now, I thought this was a good sign that they were finally going to do the thing that I've been calling for the past 2 years or so, of a true rivalry in NXT. These two guys are both really good and both friggin' hate each other. And they're both so almost evenly matched that anytime they fight each other, it's 50-50 on which one wins. So you could easily do a really cool 3-month hot potato NXT North American title feud where one guy wins and then he gets a rematch, the other guy gets a rematch and then he wins. And you just keep doing that until finally, that's it. No more. The one who wins this is the champion and the other guy cannot get another title shot. I thought maybe we were going to do that because I thought that was a really cool use of the North American title division through the rest of the summer. But now it looks to me like we're just doing Ricky Saints has to go up and just be Cody's friend or CM Punk's friend. Like he's got to do that now. You know what I mean?
I really like Ethan Page and I'm very happy for him. Part of the issue with this whole thing is I never really felt like it was a blood feud. Did you feel like it was like a
it feels like
feud?
It feels like, unfortunately, they were doing a lot of relying on these guys knowing each other from before and really not liking each other in the before place, in the before time. You know what I mean? In the long, long ago, these two men despised each other. And now it's been, like
Honestly, I would have loved it if they did. If that was a feud I got on AEW television, that would have been neat. But it's just,
I guess it's supposed to be maybe like backstage they didn't get along or some bullshit. The way that they, as soon as they saw each other, when Ricky showed up, they were like, "I don't like you. I don't like you either." You know what I mean? And I feel like they ramped it up the past couple of weeks. But like I think mostly it was like Ethan Page deciding after he lost his something he did that he lost something. And then he just attacked Ricky out of nowhere. Like Ricky was like, "Okay, you know what? That's the last straw because I'm done with you. I've hated you for years. I'm gonna kick the crap out of you." And I feel like that was where this got to. And it could only build off of this for the next time they fight, and whatever happens there could only build to the next time they fight. You know what I mean? I don't mind excessive rematches when they don't feel excessive because these two guys win a title from off the other one and then get a rematch because the other one says, "You know what? I'll beat him again. I don't care." And then he can't. And that becomes an obsessive thing. And as we've seen, Ava lets people book their own matches sometimes. So just tell her this is the time when she lets people book their own matches and we're done. But no.
My thing with this was, well, just like a very, we want this for a future video package for Ricky Saints title reign. Like this title reign, he was not even on the mic that much. Like it's Ricky Saints. Can some wrestling company use this guy? Like, please.
He should have been doing a lot more. That's for sure.
He definitely should have been doing a lot more.
I thought that this would have been the impetus for him to do more. Like now he's got a real thing he's going to sink his teeth into. Cutting promos on Ethan Page. Doing some real fun stuff and then just nah.
Nah, he's going to go like fight the Miz or something.
He's no, no, because only Carmelo Hayes. He's going to fight Carmelo Hayes on behalf of. Carmelo Hayes will fight him to defend the Miz's honor. Oh wait, he's doing that with Aleister Black right now. This is the worst. I hate it here.
You proved the haters right, Alex. Take it back. Sometimes it sounds like the Miz personally did something to me, and he did not. But I just think there's better uses for Carmelo Hayes on the main roster. It feels to me like he's getting called up, and it feels very silly that he was in NXT at all, if that's the case a little bit. I guess he's been here for a minute, but it doesn't feel like he's made an impact, not because he's not a huge deal, but because he hasn't been a huge deal on the show. And I was just hoping like Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, we were going to be getting like blood feud, these guys can't stand each other stuff, and it more felt like feels like the title change happened in the beginning to middle of what could have been a really great rivalry, and so it just kind of threw me off. And it didn't feel like it didn't feel emotionally satisfying, not because of the work, but because of the way that this has been built up. Like it just doesn't feel like it's been a priority on the show at all. Part of that is just because you've had like the D'Angelo family's breaking up, and like there's just been so much going on that this just hasn't felt like a priority. So the match was really good. I liked it better than their first one for sure. I think Ethan Page is going to be a great North American champion. I feel like he's almost more suited for that title. I don't know. There's something about him doing work with some mid-card guys that I think could be really, really productive for a division that desperately needs it. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to like a veteran, reliable heel being able to work with some faces in a division that needs some love right now. And I like what we got set up later, but I thought the match was very good. I liked it much more than the first. It just felt like surprising title change for sure, but also like the ends didn't justify the means. Like the means were too light on the way to getting there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What a shocking night. What a good night.
Hello. Are you at the gym?
AKA my garage, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing some stair stepping.
Are you
check it out?
Are you saying that you're shocked because Alex said he would review Freddie Got Fingered if you ordered him a custom puppet and didn't spend $1,000?
That would be shocking. But no, listen, I am over the moon tonight. Over the moon tonight because for years I've been banging this drum.
This is very fun to watch Sean climb upstairs and go down.
I know it is. Banging that drum, big star in the making, deserves more respect, doesn't get enough attention. And now I'm happy to hear that Tom Green is finally being considered.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. He deserves it.
He does. He does. He does.
This is really fun because whenever you're at like the top of a stair, it's like he is so tall, that guy.
Hold on here. I'll get the very there.
Oh my God. That guy's got to be 7 feet tall. That's crazy.
Very
cannot teach that.
Tall. But look, me and I even wore, shout out to Allie Albright, the Ruckus.
She's in the chat. She's excited for Jacy Jayne.
Is she excited for Tom Green? Oh, that's who I need to get to watch it. Allie Albright, Emily.
No, Allie's too innocent. Emily, sure.
Emily would be like, this is nothing. This is what I see at work. Common.
Why are you doing the thing?
What? Oh.
Other side. That's pretty good coordination, considering you're going up and down stairs, too.
Hey! Seriously, I'm very excited for Jacy Jayne. I was saying over 2 years ago, I thought she'd be a good single star. She should have been up on the main roster long ago. Probably should have been up on the main roster as a tag team. 2 custom puppets. Of what?
Of us. We're going to review it as the puppets.
But they have to be like the $500 ones, like the
Like the
real
really
deal
good
ones.
custom Muppets.
There's
Not
a
many
guy
Monet stuff.
in media who interviewed me as a puppet once. Like he was a puppet, and then like years later, he's like, "Yeah, it's okay. I know you don't like me." And I was like, "Why? Why would you say that?" And he said, "Because you called me a Muppet to somebody." And I was like, "Because you were literally a puppet. You had a show. It wasn't an insult. You had a puppet show.
Mhm.
That was it." I mean,
Funny.
listen, Alex Palowski doing a rendition of "Daddy, Would You Like Some Sausage?"
That's gonna cost extra.
All it costs you is one custom puppet, or
All right,
two actually. 'Cause
SGS. I need you all to hit me up with custom puppet makers.
all right, good.
I need you all to hit me up with custom puppet makers. Just don't do whatever method 2LT photo uses to message me, because it ain't gonna work probably.
You can send it to Kate, and then Kate will send it to Kate, and Kate will send it to Sean.
I don't want to brag, but I annoy Sean about 74 times a day. So you can send it to me, and I'll like him.
I had to learn from AEW and WWE. People are always like, "Oh, well, Tony Khan isn't accessible these days." That's because he realized that if he leaves his door open, people will just keep walking through that door. And to be real, Alex just doesn't bother me. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
He knows what he's got to do. Kate has to hit up me on behalf of everyone else at this stage.
Yep.
There's a nice flow chart.
I could absolutely find out who Harley's puppet maker is. But we'll see. But seriously, I am very excited for Jacy Jayne. I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming at all. We had a wonderful scoops thread courtesy of Corey Brennan over on Fightful Select that pushed back the injury report I'm working on. But just an incredible stuff. He's going to have producers over there as well.
Right.
Harley the puppet by herself. Of course she did. Why didn't
Of course.
she? Of course.
Why wouldn't she? Yeah.
Sweet and Sassy says SRS is making me feel like I'm on a motion ride. It's like when you're in the car and it feels like you're still in the car
Yeah.
because the car is by you.
That's
That's
it.
right.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Oh, he's gone. Great to see you, Sean. Oh, he's back.
Back. That's the way this works. It's a stair mill, so it just keeps revolving.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Not quite as good as an invention as that would allow you to play some sort of piano device with sausages attached to your fingers.
Right.
But
yeah, that's the thing. Yep.
I know
But-
not of what you speak, but
listen, this is a more reasonable offer that I am going to take into consideration. And
it's been a pleasure negotiating.
it will be. This is a very public negotiation. This was like the Bengals defensive end straight up saying, "I am not playing without a new contract next year."
Yeah.
Exactly.
I gotta get Smart Mark back. He's
Yeah.
already put you in the doghouse once. I gotta get him back for this.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to try to get off of this show without ending the stream. Goodbye.
Okay.
All right,
goodbye.
good luck.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
able to
always
do it.
nervous. I'm gonna do that.
Fantastic. Tim McFall says, a little late, but want to show love the best community ever. I didn't watch, but I hear NXT is having a clearance sale. So who's left? Lexis King? Lexis King is the only one left. It's it.
Where the heck is Noam Dar?
Where the heck is Noam Dar indeed? 3 weeks. No Noam Dar, no mention of the Heritage Cup.
That's a personal attack.
Kate, I want you to be prepared for the very serious possibility that just no more Heritage Cup.
Okay. It was nice having Alex here all these years. It's my show now, so get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. He was in a dark match with Nico Vance. They're gonna not even explain it, and Noam Dar is gonna go up to the main roster to manage Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, who will be on TV once a month.
Yeah. There you go.
Because he's got a personality. I miss him. I missed him for months, and then he's finally healthy and ready
Yeah,
to
he's
come
back.
back. And I have to sit through Penn and Teller, and I get him back, and then he just goes away again. Come on now.
Yeah. the line drive says, if all these people are getting called up, I think I've ever even seen Vince leave NXT so barren.
No, because that had a rhythm. We've talked about that before, where the call-ups would happen like in a cadence that made them predictable, but wouldn't make you feel like, well, that guy's going up. There's title reign is bleh. Like there was an ease around the way that they did things there. They also just like, now they're like, we might be doing a draft, we might be not. In case you've been living under a rock, we have no idea how we split our rosters.
Right. Cheeto Delgado says, is the before place like the sunken place in Stranger Things or whatever it is? I don't know what's it called. Or is that,
you were kind of describing it like it was a dinosaur era. It was like the Mesozoic era.
It's from the South Park episode where they made fun of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, where it's like the before time, the long ago was before the worldwide apocalypse. The sunken place is Get Out. The Upside Down. Sorry, the sunken place, the Upside Down, whatever. No, but Luis says Rusev already gave us the lore. The before place is the Abyss.
I interpreted his promo differently.
I know. So did I.
Than a lot of people did.
I'm just reading what Luis makes me say.
That's fine.
Jake
Abyss
Neal
is
says,
great. Why not?
Yeah. Jake Neal says, I have a hot take. Ricky Saints is an excellent wrestler with the most vanilla gimmick, which is basically mini Rock. I don't think it's a gimmick. I think he's playing a professional wrestler. And I think that's like I think it's really good. I don't honestly, I don't see the Rock comparison other than he's fashionable and sassy.
And he's constantly just like demanding people's souls. I don't know if you know that about him, but that's like a little insider information. He's like, hand it over.
So an hour and a half after he beat Ricky Saints, Ethan Page is showered and besuited and standing in the ring with his newly won North American Championship.
That's how a champion acts. He doesn't just sit around with dried blood on his face for 3 hours. He takes a shower, he looks good, and he says, I thought I was going to win, so I'm coming out to celebrate right now. I've
never seen that before either. I've never seen that before. A wrestler becomes champion and has his own I just became champion promo in ring on the same show within the same 90 minutes. I've never seen that before. That was brand new, but I guess it had to happen. I guess it had to happen because they had to set up this match tonight and not next week on Tuesday, I guess. But he's interrupted by Javon Evans, who says, I would like that title. And well,
first he's like, why didn't you invite me to your party?
And then he says, oh, I'm not the only one who's coming to the match. Because here's another guy, and it's Laredo Kid from TNA and before that AAA, I believe. Or is he both things still? Whatever. And then he cuts a little promo. And then it's like, okay, fine, triple threat. Oh, wait, says Javon Evans. I forgot to mention there's another guy who's coming. And it's Ray Phoenix, who's going to be there. And I don't view Worlds Collide the way that some other people do as an NXT show. Because it's not. It will have NXT guys on it. But it also has people from Raw, people from SmackDown. Like,
it's their forbidden door, but their doors are all in the same house.
It's an exhibition with a lot of fun lucha matches on it.
Yeah,
this is fine. Ethan Page being the base for a lot of crazy stuff.
Gonna be great.
Gonna be a really fun match. And there's especially with the way they're doing stuff right now, there is a non-zero chance that Javon Evans is your new NXT North American champion. And they didn't want to have him beat Ricky Saints. So they have him beat Ethan Page.
I think that's certainly a possibility.
It is a four-way match, Jambeard. It's a four-way match. It's Laredo Kid, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, and Ray Phoenix.
I gotta say, between the former A-Kid, when A-Kid was a kid.
Yes.
And Laredo Kid showing up. Stop lying about being children. You're not. You're full adults. Much like Thea Hale, you're a grown-ass adult.
I'm the Laredo dude. Is really not necessarily like the best.
Laredo man is not
Laredo
it.
dude. Yeah.
No, this should be great. This should be really great. I actually, sincerely, I know I was like being fun with it earlier, but like the idea that a guy would be so sure that he'd be champion and coming out and giving his speech that day. I wish they had gone the extra step of Ethan Page saying, I knew I was going to beat Ricky Stark. So that's why I had balloons ready. I had a cake ready. Like, just do the thing. This show was really packed. So they might have not even had the production breathing room to like go set all that up. But like, if you're going to be the champion that was smart enough to know he was going to win, celebrate, man. Celebrate you, Ethan Page.
Yes.
Very much looking forward to that match. Like, that should be absolutely bonkers. Laredo Kid's 38. Not a kid.
Laredo middle-aged man is not necessarily the best way of doing it, but he's 38. He can get a push in WWE now.
I just don't like the lies. You don't have to identify yourself by your age, you know?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm very much looking forward to this match. I think Ethan Page being the guy to ground all these fellas is something that'll be very, very fun. And I like that all of the WWE brands are mixed up in their version of Forbidden Door. Like, I think that's a cool way to go about it, because it doesn't say AAA is on the same level as the main roster or the same level as NXT. It just says like, we're doing this mix up of all of our talent and it should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they made fun of Forbidden Door a couple years ago, and now that looks extremely silly in retrospect because they're doing the same thing.
Right.
So
Ryan Cicchini says, thinking Page will lose to Evans at Worlds Collide and gets called up soon. Again, it's not like they're just got a wide open roster for stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to me, like what they could do with it. Ethan Page is great. I think he's excellent. I think they should utilize him to his fullest potential in the main roster. Do I think that this regime would do that? No, unfortunately, I don't. You know, it's a thing.
The other thing people have to remember too is like, this was a lot simpler when they were on a network that they owned. They have a way different framework to think about things in now, because I think they're on the CW for the whopping budget of like $25 million, which isn't a dime to what they're like in comparison to what they're providing.
Right.
They're to what Dawson's Creek reruns? Like, come on.
I mean, I know that there's something called Sullivan's Crossing, and it's been in like it's from the producers of Virgin River, which is another show I've never heard of. So you know what I mean? Like, it's really
there's
important.
A lot of bodies of water.
Yeah. People in the chat are pointing out that the door is very much not forbidden, since they also own the door. That's like saying that the door in your hallway is forbidden, but you own the hallway, so, and also the door.
There could be monsters in it. You don't know.
So but then okay, I suppose maybe it's like you know, hey, is it like, I don't know, don't go in there. That's just one of those. It's like that. Not unless the door's forbidden. It's just like, I probably wouldn't go in there if I were you.
It's just like you had to throw a bunch of stuff in there before guests came over. Like,
I wouldn't go in there if I were you. It's got Del Rio in there. You definitely don't want to go in there. You don't want to go in there. Del Rio's in there. You don't want to go in there.
It's got Del Rio Patron in there. I don't know.
It's got Del Rio in there. You don't want that. Luis says, honestly, love this for Laredo Kid. He had been AAA for the longest time, 2005 to be exact. And someone from Tamaulipas being on national TV alongside Commander and Gemelos Diablo. Gemelos Diablo? Probably. Doing good stuff in CMLL. Rules so much for me personally. Well, good for you, Luis.
I love that we have Luis here, because he isn't just like aware of what's going on in AAA and in CMLL. He's so passionate about it. Like, he loves it so much, and it's not something everybody at Fightful or in all of wrestling honestly covers all that closely, and certainly not with the excitement that he does. So I like that he gets to have like what feels like personal victories. That's That rules.
Yes. Daniel Elias Chrysler says Starks, Page, Phoenix. This Dynamite's lit. It's got Santana too. Santana
Like the
comes.
fuse. Wait.
Mike. So Mike Santana has a video package, and he's got a match versus Tavion Heights.
Yeah.
Tavion Heights, disappointingly, not in the man bun. I need him to be in the man bun all the time because
Roman Reigns.
The uncanny resemblance to Roman Reigns with the man bun is. I just need everyone to see it all the time.
They were talking about that on In the Weeds earlier. It was very funny. They were like, they had the same reaction you did. SP3 did. He was like, I was thinking it was Roman Reigns showing up.
Exactly like him. Santana's excellent.
Yeah, he really is.
He's an excellent wrestler. And Tavion Heights has crazy potential and is one of those guys where now I really want NQCC to break up just entirely and all go separate ways so that Tavion Heights can shine. Because he's excellent.
He's something else. Like he also right now has something that feels very different than a lot of the NXT roster has. Because he's not like Oba Femi, but he's also not kind of like the prototypical WWE NXT superstar right now. It's like there's something really special with that guy. Santana's really, really something. Like it's really fun to get to see him work in as singles and this with this much focus on him. Because he did a great job making himself look good and working with Tavion Heights in this. This was really, really, really fun. I loved this. Like this was not what I thought we were gonna do because it seemed so obvious. Like this is probably headed for Slammiversary. So on the PLE, I just assumed he was coming for what ended up being Trick, but at that time, Trick or Joe Hendry. And the fact that they were like, well, no, we've got time till that. Even though TNA has a special every other day, but they were like, we can do other things with this crossover and acquaint this audience more. So I really like it. And it's probably sadly like the best someone from TNA has looked on this show, maybe since the Rascals got to show out.
Yeah. I mean, certainly since then. And when the bar is Joe Hendry, there's no way you don't clear it. Because he's been bad on NXT.
They've gone out of their way to make him look bad. It's so bizarre.
But Santana's fantastic, and they also he beat Tavion Heights as you would expect. But later we had Trick Williams coming out in a weird, slightly furry, tan and cream colored cow print Canadian tuxedo. Like it was jean jacket but it was slightly furry, and it was vanilla, and it was cream and tan colored cow print, and then he also had jeans. He was wearing a Canadian tuxedo that went moo, and then he cut the promo. And I just
Joan Rivers could never.
I'm just there are a lot of people, Kate, who listen to our show, watch our show, but did not watch NXT. And I feel as though it is my job to properly set the mood, let them picture in their mind's eye what the stage looked like. So I need to describe to them. That is,
I respect it. I'm just saying, it's like your own. You have this alley carved out of reviewing wrestling fashion on NXT.
So he cut his promo about how he's, I distinctly remember a lot. Don't cheer for me. Don't do the whoop that trick for me. I distinctly remember a whole bunch of you waving your hands in the air like you just don't care and singing along with Average Joe. So you don't get to be fans of me now. It's a version of the All You People promo, but he's fully turned heel. And I get it, but I think that this reign, for as long as it goes, should hopefully be very good for him. I think he can only learn from working with somebody like Santana, who's a good size guy for him to work with, as the right amount of speed and agility for him to like really push himself. This could be a really good thing for Trick Williams, but Santana comes out and he's really good on the mic. I know we all really wanted him and Ortiz to win the tag titles when they were like just hanging out, backing up Jericho, and it felt like they couldn't do their own thing. But honestly, Reverie is Cool says, I hate the Tony fumbled stuff, but I wish that AEW would have given Santana a shot at a solo run. Yeah. Look at this promo. Look at the way he did in that singles match. Look at everything. Look at that match he had with Mustafa Ali in TNA. Like,
Yeah.
this guy has single star written all over him. They love doing the stuff on the main roster with Damian Priest and Zelina Vega with the Boricua stuff. Like, he could easily tap into that same type of thing. So, like, you could do that anywhere. There's a large segment of your viewing population that would identify with that kind of stuff, and you could really use that. It's great that TNA has put him in a position to be the next TNA champion, if he is, like a lot of them I think are going to be in the next couple of years, a very easy transplant from TNA to WWE. I think they'd be foolish not to utilize him in a singles role. He's really excellent.
He is, and I also wish they would have given them a tag run. Like, I wish they would give Ortiz a singles run while he's just not on television.
Yep.
I agree with you that he's a very complete wrestler. He has everything you need from a single star. He knows how to work with other people really, really well. I got to see him at Excite. I saw it with my own two eyes working an Indies match that was fantastic with someone I don't think he'd ever worked before. Like, he really knows how to give and take in a ring. And he's excellent. I'm really happy that he's getting to shine in his kind of post AEW chapter. I also hate the Tony fumbled stuff because wrestlers just go and work places. Like,
They do.
The fact that there are places now is really good. So I'm with you on that. But when I look at like him, or when I look at the Righteous, it's more those guys that I'm like, oh, I wish they were better utilized. But I say the same thing about any promotion I watch. I say it about WWE. I say it about New Japan. Like, there's always, by nature, guys that fall through the cracks. So
I really liked the promo and everything that he cut on Trick Williams. He's very, very good. You never have to deal with a guy like me, all the stuff. He's really good. And then we get Santino Marella on the big screen saying, I hear what you guys are saying. I've talked to Ava and she has given me the go-ahead. You guys will face each other for the TNA Championship next Tuesday on a random episode of NXT. So don't expect that to have another title change, although maybe. I don't know, perhaps. Who can say at this point?
I might win it next week.
You very well could. So I think that probably ends up with a bunch of stupid DQ type of stuff, and then you will see the feud between these two guys extend to Slammiversary when Santana beats Trick Williams. So I think that this could be a good thing for both TNA and NXT to get this on the TV, because I think it's gonna be really good.
It also keeps Trick at the top of the card. I'm guessing his eventual call up will be losing to Oba Femi, and they don't want to do that right now. But I like that this gives him something of importance to do, because they've kind of ran out of ideas with him other than losing to Oba Femi and going up.
Luis says the match against Ali, the match against Josh Alexander, the stuff on House of Glory. Dude bet on himself and has paid off gangbusters for him. Not a case of Tony fumbling, but a case of Santana running 80 yards on a kick recovery on his own and scoring a touchdown.
I like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I won't say it's a thing that Tony fumbled. I do say AEW should have done way more with Santana when he was under contract.
Agreed with that entirely.
You know,
I will also say some of the nastiest chops I've ever heard live. Nasty.
He's a nasty dude, man.
Nasty.
There was a very cute little segment backstage. Inamura came back from Japan just for you, Double Vest,
I think these guys are going to get married too.
I was just about to say.
But he says, I'm back, and now we have unfinished business. Like, yeah, I hear you. We're gonna get the tag titles. And he says, no, bigger. Oh, so first we get the culling, then we get the tag titles. No, bigger. And I was like, Inamura, don't have a match with Oba Femi. Like, that'll be a lot of fun, but I feel like he will throw you a long ways.
Oh, that match would be very fun.
The match is going to be fantastic, but I feel like I don't know what that does. If the plan is for them to become tag champs, it's just a thing you do along the way to becoming tag champs. That could it. What it just
he
is a thing you
faces
do.
Oba Femi and he realizes he can't be successful without his friend.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to see that match, so I don't care.
Yeah. So that's fine. So High Rise. They know how to, if you listen, I hate to be a stickler on
you
spelling.
love being a stickler.
I hate to be a stickler on spelling as well as fashion. However, you know how to spell high but not rise? Like if it was like if you spelled high rise HYE and then rise RYZE.
I don't think it's that they don't have a first grade education. I think it's a stylistic choice.
But then explain to me the stylistic choice. This is a very serious question. I don't understand why you changed the spelling of one of the words. What does it signify to them? It makes them cool?
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't. So
what
about it is cooler than doing it? Than
Alex,
saying it right. I don't understand.
You're not seeing the forest through the trees here, because outside of the spelling of this, the big thing is if you can't rise high and you need help.
Yeah.
We know who to call.
You dealing with a nosy mailman all up in your business about what you're ordering, what you're getting? Well, don't worry about it with BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. It ships discreetly. Discreetly. Fortunately for you, because the mailman's going to want to know what's going on. He's going to be delivering that mail to your house. He's going to hear all these sounds. He's going to be like, what's going on there? Well, I don't know, because this package doesn't say anything, but I have a feeling the package in there is saying something, and it will be, because of BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Helps get you that main event performance and confidence. And you get your first shipment free when you go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL. Like I said, same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but much more affordable and in a chewable. Take their online quiz, and then when approved, it ships straight to your door. My gosh. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Mind your own business, mailman.
Luis beat me to the joke.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I play that ad read, I now hear Cardozo's voice go, "Yeah, mailman," because anytime I play it on the Friday show, he says that.
Yeah, he does. He says
we got to see new metal Alex Cardoza. We saw his blonde hair, Slim Shady era last Friday, and we also saw his tough, badass backyard wrestler flexing picture. It was very, very funny, alarming but funny.
Yeah. Anyway, they cut a promo about how they're, I don't know, going to rise high and win stuff. I love Wes Lee. I think he's one of those guys that like just got stuck on NXT for way too long. He's really great and could be excellent somewhere on the main roster. Just there's not a lot of room for a lot of people right now, unfortunately. And I just don't know where he fits in currently. But
no offense to the other two.
Right.
But I'm not buying it yet. They haven't put a lot of work into it considering how long they've been around.
Yeah.
But so far, well, one, I just want to root for Wes Lee because I like him. And two, like I'm just not sold on this faction yet. They haven't done a lot. Right. So I'm not saying it's like unsalvageable.
Like, I really love Bouncy Beef. I gave him that nickname because they are both beefy and bouncy, and those are things I like in a wrestler. And they're both excellent at it. And so I would like to see them utilized better in the tag division. They don't need to be backup for Wes Lee. That's not a thing they need to be. They need to be doing awesome matches in the tag division because I think they can. You can figure out a way to make them into a fun persona themselves. I loved them as like baby faces who really liked being both beefy and bouncy. They were very happy about being both of those things. I think you could have done a lot with them, and now they're just like, you know, they're stooges for Wes Lee, which doesn't feel like it works a lot. Now, another guy we're going to talk about right now is this Jasper Troy fella, who I didn't watch LFG. I'd watch Freddy Got Fingered twice before watching an episode of LFG.
Don't tell Sean that.
So I don't know anything about this dude. And I think it's way too early to be being like, hey, this is the guy who won a reality contest. He should have a world title match. Is dumb to me. But you could easily bring him along slowly on the NXT program by introducing him alongside a familiar face.
Sure.
Like there's a let's say, for the sake of argument, Javon Evans becomes a North American champ here in the next month or two. He could become the North American champ as early as June 7th. If you wanted to say Wes Lee would like to challenge for that title, Wes Lee being like, okay, great, I'm coming after you, but I'm also going to soften you up with my boy here, Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy being introduced to the WWE, to NXT as the Diesel to Wes Lee's HBK in a feud with Javon Evans, who could get thrown super far by a dude like Jasper Troy, is a much more believable way to introduce Jasper Troy to me, the audience, than here's a dude who like was on this reality show and he gets a world title shot. You know what I mean? Like I think Wes Lee could add a lot to a certain guy being near him as part of the thing, part of his presentation. I just don't think Bouncy Beef fits with him yet, and I don't think Jasper Troy fits in a world title place.
For all of your LFG coverage, I can't recommend enough the absolute passion that SP3 brings to reviewing the show. He will sell you on LFG. I'm not watching it. But he was like, it's so good they're only taking 1 month off before they renewed to season 2. And it was so good that they have to use a lot of the same wrestlers from season 1 that they're using them in season 2. That's how good it is what SP3 will tell you. He legitimately, I don't know of anybody else in wrestling media that actually covers it on screen at least. But I feel like this was part of the episode feeling really crowded. Like,
yeah,
if you're actually trying to sell me on the idea of LFG and that this guy is like a future star, a legend and a future star, having him on the same show as like 2 Shock title wins and a TNA crossover, like that doesn't feel great from a viewing perspective. And it also didn't feel like there was certainly nothing that I was like, he's not ready today. But like, I also didn't feel like he's like undeniably
right.
Whatever. Like I didn't do that. Having some hand holding to go from step A to step B is probably a good call there.
I saw a large gentleman who has some potential to him. I did not feel what I felt when I first saw Oba Femi wrestle. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, okay, hold on. Like, there was none of that with this guy, but doesn't mean he can't get better. We see a lot of people getting way better real fast, and he certainly can. Very true. But I'm
I'm against him immediately when you bring him in and say world title shot. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
hold,
for no
hold
reason.
on, hold on. No. What are we doing here? That didn't make any sense.
Especially world title shot against Oba Femi. It's not someone who's dumb and got goaded into one. You know, if he, no offense to Lexus King, if Lexus King was stupid enough to get goaded into a match with him, that would have made sense to me. Like, because his
Sure.
character would have been silly enough.
Yeah. Just him
to work
squashing
himself
Dante
into that,
Chen,
right.
who we haven't seen in
Who
I
I
don't know
thought
how long.
looked really. I'm a little bit of a Dante Chen stan, I think.
He's really good. He's an absolutely serviceable hand. Like, you need guys like that on your roster, and I want him to have more to do. Like, I feel like that's a guy, and I don't even know if he's actually been down there, but like I feel like that's a guy who could benefit from an actual push on Evolve.
That I
Let's
agree
put
with.
him in the
100%.
ring with some indie guys and give him a shot to like go for 11 minutes and see what he's got. Because I feel like the longest match I ever saw him in was the kendo stick match with Lexus King. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see what this guy can actually do. And he
maximizes his minutes. Like, he looked good in there today. And I agree with you. Like, I think being on Evolve would be a more productive thing than being a pin eater every 3 months or whatever they do with him. Like, I like Dante Chen a lot.
He absolutely made his minutes count tonight, but that wasn't what this was about. Jasper Troy wins the match, and then Oba is up in the Raven's Nest and talks to him, and he's like, you coming for the king, whatever. And always said it was good. He's very good, but I this is the least I'm interested in Oba Femi now, because this is the dude he's facing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, so dispense with the kid and get back to something that matters, Oba. And then tonight makes me think there's definitely a 5 to 8% chance that when Oba Femi faces Jasper Troy, he loses. Tonight made me think anything is possible. Honestly.
Well, you look at me and you look at Jasper Troy and you know that is not true. 5 to 8 was so specific. I also feel like I don't take his ability for granted, and that like Miles Bourne was an unproven,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, he won a battle royal and that was a shock, and now it's another guy who hasn't been built, right? He's just showed up from LFG. I get that they're trying to legitimize LFG, but I wouldn't assume that the great match that we got from Miles Bourne and Oba Femi is going to be anywhere. Like, this match is not going to be anywhere near that, just because the guy doesn't have the experience even that Miles Bourne has had. I would like to see him in a more proper story soon, though that story was built out perfectly. But like, let's get like a contender for this guy. I like my contendery.
Yes. And this is where I'm going to say that they have dropped the ball with Dark State. The ball, they dropped it, it rolled away and fell off a cliff. The ball cannot be seen.
Well, what I appreciate is they're trying to develop them for the main roster, and they've also done that with the New Day and John Cena very much. So it's good to prepare them for the momentous.
The first thing Dark State did was attack Oba Femi, and the next thing they're doing is having a 6-man tag with the remnants of Chase U.
What are we doing?
Like,
and they pinned the tag champions, and they were like,
they pinned the tag champions, and like, we don't care about that shit. What do you care about? What do you care about? What are you here for? Why do you exist?
Because fake universities just get under their skin, man.
Like, but they're not even. They didn't ask for the match. Ava says, "I need to put the Dark State in a match, so I thought I would put them in a match with you, the Chase U simps." I'm like, but there's 4 of them and only 2 of us. Actually, no, there are 3 of you, because he's going to be in the match too. And Andre Chase is me watching Chase U do anything. He's this. So like, that's fine, but like Dark State just being a team that Ava can decide to use or not is definitely not what they were. The second night they came to work, they attempted murder on Robert Stone and wrote in Robert Stone's blood on the wall, "No one is safe," and everyone is safe. Literally everyone is safe. Perhaps the Chase U simps aren't safe, but that's next week. This tonight, everybody was safe. Everybody was in like an underground bunker. That's how safe they were. Everything's fine.
They were the tie going to the runner. Safe. Brian more or less wants to know, unrelated, but I just thought I would bring this up because we already talked about it. Just got here, but the show seemed crazy. Did they take the title off of Stephanie so she wouldn't be at Worlds Collide with the AAA issues? Well, no, because she's having a match there
on that show. So she'll be a tag to be the tag. She'll be having a tag match without the title.
So Brian, whether you're more or whether you're less, that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't.
They really have dropped the ball with Dark State. I'm actually glad you called that out because that's now twice that they like went after the world champion, pinned the tag champions, and then are like, the remnants of the stable is where we got assigned to, and we just follow rules and what Ava says. That's weird.
Ava booked us in a match which we will gladly acquiesce to. Is not what these guys started out as. like they should be the dudes coming after Oba Femi, and they should be goading.
They should be zeroed in on a target.
They should want the top spot. That's what they said. We're tired of waiting around for our spot. Shouldn't they want the top spot? They should be coming after Oba Femi like they came after him from the very beginning, and they should goad him into a gauntlet match.
Ooh.
You face us one after the other. Cutler James, Osiris Griffin, Dion Lennox, and then finally Saquon Sugars. And we will, and all of them are no DQ matches. We're gonna beat the absolute tar out of you, big man. And no matter which one of us gets the pin on you, we're all the champ. And Oba said, I would like to see you try. Done. Do it. Like, it's great. And honestly, they could beat the hell out of him, but you could make him into the baby face. Like, it'd be really fun to see him like work out of that. But,
Alex, a lot of times people use the phrase that the kids use with "let him cook." But that one belongs on the front right power burner. That's where that should be cooking. That's a fantastic idea. But I'm also a gauntlet match perv, so I love them. Brian more or less saying, haven't decided which one I am either. Happy for JC. At least you know you're in the ballpark. You've got Brian is the betting line, and it's more or less. It's over or under. A lot of people don't know who they are in a much deeper way than that. So
right. Oh, by the way, Stevie Turner, after the announcement that it would be Ethan Page versus Javon Evans versus Laredo Kid versus Ray Phoenix, Stevie Turner was like, hold up. One of my guys, that Sean Legacy fella, he won a number one contenders match. So what the hell? He's like, I haven't forgotten about him. I'm just don't care about him. That's basically what Ava said. Like, he'll have a match versus the winner of the 4-way because I said so. She could put him in it. She could put him in that fun. She could do that, but she's just say, I'm going to have a match against the winner of the 4-way. And that's fine. But like the guy who said, I want to see you two guys fight, and then the winner of that will face me. That dude ain't the champion anymore.
Yeah. That's part of why this all feels so haphazard, is like those aspects of things. When I say this episode felt crowded, that's what I meant. Yeah. LFG, Evolve, TNA, NXT, it was overloaded. Yeah. But this was, again, supposed to be their big Tampa show that didn't work out. So I get it.
Yeah. So Tony and Luca had a sit down at the Warehouse restaurant. And Tony's like, hey, so what gives? I thought that Stacks clipped you in the desert, and then you show up at Battleground like you just got off vacation and you stand there and do nothing. What's up with that? It's like, so I know you didn't see it, but Stax actually put me in a car and drove me further into the desert and let me out, and it was fine. This is not suspicious in any way. Also, I know I have been not reaching out, but Big Angie's phone is disconnected. So you can trust me, I swear. And Tony's like, I don't trust nobody right now. So this is just a thing that's going to last until August, and it could have been over on Saturday or whatever, and they just decided not to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is one that shouldn't be a slow burn, in my opinion, because it's a mob story, and those don't end. Mobs aren't known for slow, painful deaths. They're known for quick, violent ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tony. Yeah. This is what I'm. So Tatum Paxley had a match with Jaida Parker. Tatum Paxley brought dolls to the ring that one of them had orange hair, one of them had green hair, one of them had black hair. It represents the three friends, Chemical X, their little tag team. And at one point, after gaining control over Jaida Parker and beating the hell out of her, the referee decided, no, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to follow her out of the ring. This is one I hate, when referees do ridiculous stuff to make sure they don't see stuff. So you were beating her up and she rolled out of the ring. One of the things you are allowed to do then, because we see it in a lot of matches, is also roll out of the ring and fight her out there for the maximum of 10 seconds. And he just said, no, you're not allowed to get out there. And he pushed her all the way back. And so Jaida, while recovering outside, picked up one of the dolls and just tossed it into the ring. So Paxley had to go and retrieve it and then be sad while kneeling in the middle of the ring over the doll so she could get a butt to the face. And Jaida Parker won, beat her that way. And then Thea Hale ran out and attacked Jaida Parker. So when I say that the cupboard is bare, like, I think all three of these women are really talented. But it doesn't feel like they're doing a lot with these women to, like, prep them for a title picture. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like it's this weird, they feel kind of aimless.
Aimless is a good word for it. Aimless is a good word for it. Part of that is because the Women's North American title has a very specific story going on right now, which I think is very good. Like, I like what they're doing with it. I like what the end game looks like. Assuming that Triple H isn't like, we want Zarya here yesterday. But it feels like they had to reshuffle things for them not calling people up, and now it feels like they have to reshuffle things for them calling people up.
Yeah.
That's how it reads. That's how it reads on screen a lot. But this was good. Tatum's great. Like, this character is great. The very ending where she's looking at her dolls, it wasn't like she's sincerely emotionally tied up in these. Like, she's very, very good at that. Both of them are good in the ring. I love Tatum's in-ring style, and I love that it's so, her vulnerability is so wrapped up in being, like, mentally off base in a way that, like, emotionally off base, that when she, like, hits moves really hard, there's something really fun about that juxtaposition of, like, her emotional vulnerability with it. So good stuff. But yeah, you're right. Of, like, none of this feels like it doesn't feel like contendership for a title at any time soon.
Right. So then we had after this, we had a backstage segment that played off of this that also felt like a Mad Lib. Quick, I need a singles women's wrestler, a women's tag team, and a weird culty heel faction. And then you said Tatum Paxley, Zelta and Sol Ruca, and the Culling. And what we get is Tatum Paxley being like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? And then Zelta and Sol Ruca come in and like, hey, Tatum, we see that you feel like you don't have any friends and everything. And I'm here to tell you, says Zelta, that sometime the friend you didn't know you needed is just around the corner. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with Zelda? And then the culling just wanders into the background, and I'll stand there creepily, like, are you recruiting something? Is Izzy Dame going to get the next North American title shot?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking too, but it's NXT now, so maybe they're going to recruit Tatum Paxley, and she's going to like ride Izzy Dame onto Izzy Dame's shoulders during all of her matches. You never can tell. It's just a thing that they do. Who knows what they do now? They just do stuff.
I love when you completely abandon all hope because one thing was off track. Like it feels like it.
They just do stuff now. So yeah.
I would love to see Izzy Dame and Zarya and Izzy Dame versus Sol Ruca. Like I'm on board for both of those matches. So hopefully that's the direction they go.
There was we got to see Miles Bourne just hanging out backstage with Tavion Heights, and then Dempsey comes in and he's like, "You boys both did North Quarter Catch Club plowed. Like, you had good job in your matches and everything. However, I think it's time for me to come back to becoming the leader and the focus of this group." And Miles was like, "No, actually, I'm going to go out on my own and become a singles wrestler because, I proved that I can hang with the top guy in all of NXT. So I'm going to do that." And Charlie was like, "You're not ready. You're just not ready yet." And he's like, "If I beat you, will I be ready?" I'm like, "No, let's not do that. No, what I'm going to do, I'm going to beat you. Let's fight." I'm like, okay, next week in a rounds match. And then Ren is like, "What's going on?" So
her matches, man. Let's go. Come on now.
Well, once we break up No Quarter Catch Crew or whatever it is, like we can do that then. And then William Regal shows up and says, "Charlie Dempsey, I am your father." And then we actually do that. We get evil Charlie Dempsey. Like with William Regal slipping in brass knuckles in a really cool mid-card heel run. And we get Tavion Heights doing amazing stuff in his singles matches. And Miles Bourne, like, not falling right back down the mid-card into being a dude in the faction. We actually get to do stuff with him. Maybe if we're bringing up Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, then we're actually going to have people doing stuff. Like, we literally don't have any challengers for Oba Femi right now because the new kid from I don't care how big he is, the new kid from LFG ain't a real challenger. So let's build all these other people for stuff. Charlie Dempsey, Tekker Charlie Dempsey, with William Regal in his corner, is absolutely a dude you could build for a few weeks and become a guy who I would want to see wrestle Oba Femi. Because everybody's the same size when you're on the mat. Yes, him just locking in heel hooks and leg locks and arm bars and stuff, trying to like just destroy him with William Regal telling him what to do. Do that.
I agree. And for the same reasons, I've been on I'm always on the Noam Dar train, but for similar reasons.
Noam Dar, though, he does dark matches now where he wrestles 1/3 of the culling. So, like, you know what I mean? It's that's what he is now. I'm sorry to tell you the truth about things.
Yeah, stop. Lie to me. I also have to say, have we put Hikuleo on the back of a milk carton yet?
No, he's listen. We just brought in Waidatonga. Now we have to wait for Talatonga. JC Mateo
in June of 2024. It's been almost a year. Yeah, next week it'll be a year.
You
don't sign people to bench them though.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. We're just it's.
Did you see tonight's show? Because it kind of doesn't feel like a marathon so much, Alex. I wouldn't say, man, this is a 26.2 mile race we're in.
This feels like that's what it feels like to me. Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell we're doing with Hikuleo, but it feels like they brought him in. They brought him into the company so he could be a guy who joins a bloodline. You know
Him
what I
and
mean?
ELP were so fun because ELP was just going around being like a mini Shawn Michaels. And Hikuleo was like, I'm extremely tall and very fun in the ring.
Yeah.
And then they broke them up.
Yeah, they're
Jeff
he
Cobb
can't-
debuted in like 5 minutes after he left New Japan. And
He-
Hikuleo's been here for a
no.
year.
How old is Hikuleo and how old is Jeff Cobb? They got to get him before he runs out of batteries. Old Jeff Cobb. You know what I mean?
I mean, Hikuleo's 34. Jeff
Is he
Cobb's,
really?
I think. Yeah.
Alpha Bill says
He was in New Japan for like 45
his name
years.
is HK Leo. He's not. He's because you have to change it to that.
HK Leo is so funny.
So
He's going to be the next part of the Bloodline story. He's just going to sit on the shelf for another 6 months and then show up in a black hoodie on the main roster.
Yeah.
I love Hikuleo. That guy is like very fun and charismatic. And this division could really use him. Get him up off the bench, even though I know you guys don't bench people.
Yeah. Right. So I can't believe Hikuleo is 34. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't even. Shadester, has Roman even showed up since Mania? No, of course not.
I gotta say that guy feels
he's-
really checked
He's
out.
due to show up sometime in July to build to the SummerSlam match, and after that, he'll show up sometime in December to build to his appearance in the Royal Rumble. That's it.
I think he was filming a thing. Was he filming a thing?
He's. I mean, maybe he's filming anything, but he's in consideration to film a different thing.
Sure. Aren't we all?
Ricky Starks is 35. 3 more years, and he can get a decent push.
It's true.
So there was a thing back in the backstage. And this is why I say that I really do not like the style of GMing that they're asking Ava to perform. Like, I guess she is a happy medium between Nick Aldis, who seems to have his stuff together, and Adam Pearce, who's just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. She's got a thing, she's got ideas, but then stops halfway through them. Like, she walks up to Stephanie backstage and says, "Hi, Stephanie. I know you've got a title match tonight. I just want to let you know you will be in a tag team match versus Chick Tormenta and Dallas at Worlds Collide. So I just want to let you know that you're gonna have to find your own tag team partner, though. Okay, bye." And I'm like, what? Just don't book her in a tag match then. Like, either you find the tag partner for her, or you book her in a singles match. I don't know what we're doing. And then Lola Vice just happens to be standing 2 feet off camera and goes, "I'll be your partner." Come on, we both speak Spanish. It'll be good.
sidling up energy. Real sidling up energy.
And
In
then,
Ava's defense, tonight she had like 8 different things to run. She was like, I gotta deal with these LFG and Evolve people, and TNA is coming over. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Alex. I would say I am not hooked on Ava's style of being a
No.
GM.
Uh-uh.
But I know where to go if I want to get hooked on something. Specifically voiceovers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where I would go?
Voiceovers are us.
Nope. A strong competitor, admittedly. But I would go to hookedinvoiceovers.com and I would have Matthew Hooks read, produce, do everything I would need for my voiceover needs, because I would go to his website at hookedinvoiceovers.com. I would listen to his commercial demo. I would listen to his narration demo. I would book a chat with him. I would get a quote from him. I would look at all the things that he could do for me, all the different vocal styles he could do for me, all of his different gear that he has in his studio. So you know that you're getting a high quality product. Okay? That's what I would do. I would reach out. I'd get a quote. I'd sign an agreement. I'd let him record it. I'd review it. And then I'd pay him for it. That's what I would do at hookedinvoiceovers.com. And if that just wasn't enough information, which pretty clear cut if you go to the website, I would also email hookedinvoiceovers.com@gmail.com and learn more today. So there you
That's
go.
what we would do. Yeah.
Now, see, this is what I love. Can Matthew Hooks read it as a puppet? Now, I don't know if he could read it as a puppet, but we could get him to do some voiceover work and along with it. You know what I mean? I'd have to
just lip sync it. I love this.
I'm not Harley Cameron. I can't do ventriloquism.
Just Ricardo says, Matt, did you play for this tonight? I did not, just Ricardo. So we just gave, that's called a freebie, Matthew Hooks. So
No, he's a sponsor every month.
Every month. Okay, well there you go. Okay.
There you go.
He seems confused by that. I want you to know.
I mean, unless you stop paying us, but we've given exposure to way less cool people than that.
Oh, so. For sure. My goodness. So anyway, Luis saying the question about Vaquer and AAA. The people Vaquer had issues with in AAA are not booked or even being promoted for Worlds Collide whatsoever. And to echo Lucha Blog, I don't think WWE books these title changes to integrate those talents in mind on NXT. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
We got an interview with. We're going to interview with the Fatal Influencers tonight, but I barely paid attention because I was like, this is just a thing we're doing to just get us to the whatever we're doing with Vaquer after tonight. All I remember from the thing is that obviously Jacy Jayne and Fallon Henley don't like each other at all. I was like, finally, we're going to break up this faction.
Alex, like an hour later, did not. It's like when the narrator's like, but they didn't break up that faction.
So, Chick Tormenta and Dallas come out during the match, and then Lola Vice comes out and runs them off. Jacy Jayne had a really good match versus Stephanie.
Yeah, this was a
very good match. She's a very, very good wrestler. You know, at one point they both wind up outside and they're arguing with each other. And Jasmine Nix is like, what are we doing? You're supposed to be friends. You've got a title match right now. What are we doing? And they both turn and shove her. They both turn and shove Jasmine Nix down. I don't know. She landed on one of her consonants. It was really bad. So, she did. It was tough. It's tough.
It's so painful when you land on your consonants like that.
It's true. It is true. But then she like stormed off to the other side of the ring and stood there by herself. And then Stephanie Vaquer does the arm bar over the ropes in the corner.
Yeah.
And then Jasmine Nix gets up on the top rope. I guess her consonants didn't hurt that badly. And she got up on the top rope she got up on the apron, and the referee goes over to like talk to her, please get off the apron. And then Fallon does her 619 around the ring post thing that she does and kicks Stephanie Vaquer, and Stephanie Vaquer gets pinned. But after a knee from Jacy Jayne, and Jacy Jayne is your champion. And it appears the story that they're trying to tell is this fake breakup was a long con from the very beginning, that we were never actually not friends. We were just waiting for the perfect opportunity to swerve all of you, I swear is going to be the promo they cut on Tuesday.
Probably. Corey Hayes of Body Slam is reporting that Jordynne Grace is going to SmackDown. That's not confirmed by us yet that I know of, but that certainly would explain why they did any of this. If Steph's going up and Jordan's going up.
Yeah. Like, if they were going to take the title off of Steph to give her a potential call-up, then put the title on Jordynne on Sunday. And I would say, apparently to that, they can't, because she's also going up.
Yeah, it's not a great position to put them in. I am very happy for Jacy. This was a really, really, really good match. I was obviously shocked by the ending. As far as there's nothing they can do but retcon their way out of this because they were headed for a breakup. So I don't think that was the long-term plan. I think they'll have to tell us it was the long-term plan. And I honestly feel like outside of Zarya, which I just would have loved from the 2 woman power trip angle, like kind of who else do you put it on? Like if Jordan's going up too, it's tricky. It's tricky. Like I don't know what other call you would make, but obviously watching this, it doesn't feel like the right call because this is not anything that they were doing work toward for the past couple months.
Right.
For the past 6 months since the big 4 showed up.
No, they
So-
weren't doing any of that. No.
So very happy for Jacy Jayne, the person and the wrestler. Very much not looking forward to the way that they have to retcon it. I also literally laughed out loud when I was setting up for this stream because I was like, this is the second time Fallon Henley is gonna have to just completely change gears because of call-ups. It feels like last time they turned her super heel because they got gutted from call-ups, and this time it's gonna be like, actually, that woman who wasn't my friend is totally my friend because of NXT call-ups again, which I don't get to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I'm sure the title reign will lead to that, and I think JC's probably one of the more reliable people to try and usher in this new group up the card somehow. But
Somebody
I
else
also think
mentioned-
like you have a partnership with TNA, I'd be stealing Masha Slamovich and
right.
Jody Threat and
I mean, that's-
doing as much work as I could across the aisle in that way.
It's only fair. If an NXT
Dude,
guy
we
gets
still
to be
won.
in TNA World Champion, then
Like a Masha
Masha-
Slamovich NXT
NXT
run
is-
intrigues me.
like that's only fair. One of your guys gets to be our men's world champion. One of our girls gets to be your NXT women's world champion because look at what you've just done with the call-ups to your women's roster. I think Masha could have great matches with a bunch of different people. I love Jacy Jayne, but like this feels like a thing that they had to do, not a thing that they were building towards ever. You know, like
Is there who on the main roster would you bring down to NXT? Because it's feels stale or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, is there a main roster person that you would send down to have a program?
I think let Natty cook in NXT.
That's not a bad call.
Let her be the NWA Bloodsport version of her in NXT. Like Natty would be great down there doing that stuff. And also behind the scenes, when she's not playing the character, she's teaching all these girls how to lock up and stuff. You know what I mean? Like she could do great stuff training these women. You know, it's now Chelsea Green's she got stuff. You know what I mean? Like
she has to have another rematch for her US title, probably.
Probably. I mean, break up that thing, send Alba Fire back down, but like book her like she's Kaylee Ray.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like there's women you could do stuff with. I mean, I would have said Candice LeRae and let her like really be Candice LeRae, but they just added her to something over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Feels
it.
Feels like at this point Ivy Nile got called up too soon, and you really didn't give her a chance ever in NXT to be what she can be. Let her be that. There's some women that you could Kyrie, I guess, maybe Kyrie going back down there. Maybe she's got stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
at least until Asuka is able to return.
You know,
FightfulSelect.com reported she's not, but just letting you
know. Yeah, there's just I mean, I would have said Dakota Kai, but
of course,
you know, like
of course.
Jambeard says, so JC beats Steph. What's next? Andre Chase beats Oba? No, that's not comparable. JC is really great. And I think they're going to figure out a way to retcon this into something that makes sense. And I think that she's going to be a serviceable champ. She's not a comedy act.
Correct.
Andre Chase is a comedy act. You know, like that's different. You know, you wouldn't put the world title on R-Truth. You figure out a way to
have him fight
in a world title match for no fucking reason.
For some reason.
So here we go. Just Ricardo says, don't read Jambeard's chat aloud, Alex. I wonder what that could be in reference to. Jambeard says, here's for the darkest timeline. I love those. Steph and Jordan get called up, and in return for Trick winning the TNA title, not Masha, but Tessa Blanchard. That would indeed be the darkest timeline.
If they wanted Tessa, they would have had Tessa by now.
They would have. They would have, for sure.
Shout out to. Never mind. I'll just follow Sean's Twitter, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. No, he just says that Tessa would get the shot at the NXT Great American Bash. No, I don't think so.
No.
Jambeard says, Alex, you forgot part of Jacy's evolution. It went third most character in a top group to fake ass bitch to second most important character of a mid card group to champ. But you're also forgetting. Well, I guess is that fake ass bitch? Is that part of co-ed, sexy co-ed's calendar entrepreneur? That's also part of her timeline.
That's the girl boss era.
Yeah, she says sexy co-ed's calendar entrepreneur. Ryan Cicchini says that he's 99% positive that either Ethan or Ricky ends up with Seth Rollins.
I genuinely don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think that it's very possible Ricky ends up helping out his buddy fighting that faction.
I think that's very possible too.
So
they don't have the balls to do it, but him just qualifying and winning Money in the Bank would be incredible.
No,
but they
won't do it. Zero chance of that. Braun Wagner says, just woke up. What in the world was this NXT? Well,
great question.
We described it. Ryan Shkini also says Tavion, Miles, Oba, Inamura, and Javon Evans. Lean on them in the men's division with Ricky going up if Ethan goes up. They have the talent. They just need to produce them better.
Yes.
You know, that's the thing to me. Jambeard says that Roman is being considered for the role of Akuma from Street Fighter because someone from the Anawai family to pretend to be Japanese again, just like Yokozuna. Okay, we have hold on. Electric Mayhem says that Alex can just put the puppet on screen when Kate and Sean go on obscure baseball tangents.
It's true. There have been multiple occasions where there has been mid-90s baseball talked about, and Alex has been, less interested than other things that we talk about.
Kylie, the Gamer Princess, says, hi, friends. Love you all. We love you, Kylie. Love you, Kylie, so much. Jambeard says that Ricky will join Mello, and they will become the Miz Taraj 2.0.
Blocked. Unsubscribe. Never send it in chat again.
Before we get to our wedding puns, speaking of weddings, Tom LaValle says, congrats to Kyle Fletcher's husband's new wife. Because Takeshita and Yuka Sakazaki are tying the knot.
I think
Have they already tied the knot?
Yeah, I think this was just the first time they've been public about it. But congrats to them. The lover's quarrel that was started was very funny. Kyle Fletcher was like, excuse me. And Yuka replied, you are my rival.
All right.
So there you go.
Wedding puns. Alpha Bill says Bouquet Lynch. Electric Mayhem
Myra
says
needs a move called the Toss the Bouquet. There you go.
Paul Ringbearer.
Very good.
Does anyone here have the rings? Oh, yes. Just like a little 5-year-old boy with fully pallid and a little mustache. Oh, yeah.
He's 5, but he's a real life licensed mortician, like he was.
Yeah. Mercedes Ceremony. Followed by, of course, Mercedes Recepcion.
Of
There's
course,
the
yeah.
ceremony and the reception.
Of course.
Meet Normus says Numptial Buster. Numptial Buster, I guess. The American bridesmaid. American bridesmaid. Pentel El Cerro Matrimony. Mercedes Bouquet.
Very nice.
The Flower Nya Girl.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Till Death Riders do us part.
Feels that way.
And of course, the ring box like structure.
Of course. Thank you. That's very funny.
Tom Valley says Maxine do prenup. Meet Norma says, get these bands, wedding bands. And also Tony D. Vorse.
Very nice. I mean, sad, but
Louisville says Allie Albride.
Allie Albright. I love when Allie gets them because they're like wrestler puns, and she's a 2-time champion.
Wedding Stinger. And also Everything Tux.
Everything Tux. A more formal sour grabs.
Chris Pereira says Bam Bam Bigalopin Bar. That's my favorite kind of wedding to go to, the Bigalopin Bar.
That's fantastic.
Alpha Bill says Mazel Tov enough.
That's really good.
C Delgado says Takeshita be your bride. You Takeshita
Really
be
good.
your bride. Legion of Groom. Remember we had Legion of Womb for mom puns? Legion of Groom is great.
That's just his groomsman. I love that.
Yep. Billy Gunn is Billy Shotgun wedding.
Very nice.
Techno Wedding Planner Team 2000.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Lieutenant Photo says Invitation of Domination. Louisville says, oh, I'm saving that one for last. That one's getting saved for last, Louisville. Meet Norma says chicken or fish. Chicken or bobby fish. And
Obviously the chicken, because the bobby fish has been there for 85 years.
Devon, get the gift tables. Insert clever Nixon Newell pun says Nixon Newvale.
Very nice.
Lieutenant Photo says Tour of the Aisles.
Tour of the Aisles is really good.
Yeah, walking down the aisle. And Bouquet Toss Spray.
That's really good. Bouquet Toss Spray is very, very good.
Electric Mayhem says Will knows gay spray. And Dowry Allen, not Darby Allen, but Dowry
Allen going old school. Very old.
And also Legion of Groom.
Legion of Groom is fantastic.
In honor of what we saw a couple nights ago. Let the bouquets hit the floor. 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 That's great. Fantastic. All right. Some jukeboxes, but I don't have any of these yet. Here we go. Gunther sings Religious Man by Mr. Loco. All right. I don't know that one, but let's find out. Let's find out what it is.
Also, we are cut off because we are
fully cut off. No more.
Yeah.
No more. Bouquet
I'll take
Elizabeth.
this, though. Thank you.
Bouquet Elizabeth. Very good. Here we go. Because you're there when I awake, and then you give me a life so great. Because the children with you can play. I think I am. Because when I speak, you're always there. People listen, what can I tell? Because you're my gospel, my daily bread. That's why I think I am. I think I am. I think I am. I'm proud I am. A real religious man. I pray I am. I feel I am. Oh Lord, I am. God knows I am. A real religious man. Yeah. Thank you for sending that way. Tom Valley wants Paw Pulowski to sing Rasputin by Boney M. Again, I do not know this one. There lived a certain man in Russia long ago. He was big and strong. His eyes a flaming glow. Most people look at him with terror and with fear, but to Moscow chicks, he was such a lovely dear. He could preach the Bible like a preacher, full of ecstasy and fire, but he was also the kind of teacher women would desire. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. There's lived a certain man in Russia long ago, big and strong, eyes flaming goat. We already did that one. Why did they write that twice? Hold on. There, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was gone. Rasputin, Russia's greatest love machine. It was a shame how he carried on. What? Thank you. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Tom LaValle wants Darby to read 1 Corinthians 13, verse 3 through 7. Oh. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Malachi Black. Good. Okay. So Lieutenant Photo wanted Dusty to sing this, and Jambeard wanted Paw Pulowski to sing this.
People are mentioning this in the chat. I think the custom puppet should have to have all your personalities. Like Allie was like, we need Pawpaw to be the puppet. Like I think there should be a Ricky Rainbow wig for it.
Yeah.
Like it
no, Sean needs to get me a suite of puppets.
Yeah.
Like just I should be able to reach behind me and pick up the Paw Pulowski puppet and then do like that thing.
It should be perfect. It should be perfect for us if we're gonna make the concession that we're willing to make about this.
So Lieutenant Photo wanted Dusty to sing this, and Paw Pulowski wanted Jamie wanted Paw Pulowski to sing it. But it really is just 2 lines. So
one of each.
First, Paw Pulowski. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages?
This is beautiful.
Hold on, I wasn't requested. I'm not supposed to be here.
Jesse, did you just come in here to talk about that Damian Priest match?
I'm still steamed from that Damian Priest walking out the cage, taking a stroll like he's on a Sunday constitutional. What are you doing? At least climb over the damn cage. I'm still steamed about that.
You should be.
Right.
Respect.
I got something on the stove. I gotta go.
Oh, okay.
It's me. I'm here finally. Here we go. Somebody asked me to do it, so here we go. Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausages? If you
hard times.
Hard times when you don't have the sausages, Daddy. Daddy, would you like some sausages? I have sausages. I'm offering them to you. A computer took your job, Daddy, but I am here to offer you sausages. Hard times.
It was beautiful.
All right, well, that's it. That's everything there is to do. So I'm
that is all there is to do.
I guess I'm just gonna go back to the radio.
All right.
Bye.
It was great to see you.
Sabu is still using the deck chairs to jump off of and stuff. We cannot get him to stop. Sabu, come down from there. I gotta go. Bye.
Oh, okay. We'll see you next time.
Nobody requested me?
No.
I feel very Sad.
I'm sorry about that. I know one of your
Alright, well.
biggest fans is in the chat.
You get, okay. Well, if they're not, but okay. What you request me? Well, request me. What will you request me to do? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy,
Nailed
would
it.
you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Keep cool, gabagoos.
Yeah.